Hey dude, I found this really cool game. It's got a bunch of cute girls in it that you get to write poems to. Oh, that sounds cool. Have fun with that. But dude, they're really, really cute. I was like, really? Yeah, I'm sure I would love playing that kind of... Hello guys, it's time I get to the real matter at hand. I've been wanting to do this video since I finished Doki Doki Literature Club in my playthrough, and fitting that it comes out on the next installment of the game where it should be. So this is Doki Doki Literature Club, and I'm going to be talking about why this is more than just a game. This does contain my own personal bias, and this content is not suited for all viewers, as you can clearly see in the last image on the screen. This is the Doki Doki main theme music, and what a great piece of music it is. Thank you so much for creating this. But let's get into the game, and more importantly, what is this game? Well, it's literature, as you can tell from the title, but more importantly, you have the choice of 4 girls in this one club that you get to write poems to, and you try to woo them over with your poems. So let's go into talking about each one of these girls individually. Start with my favorite, Sayori. Now Sayori is your best friend, a girl you grew up with, you've known your entire childhood. Now, yes, Sayori does have some really bad depression, and really you don't know this as the main character until you get late into the game. But being her best friend, you do the best you can to support her in any way you possibly can. You mommy her basically to death, and eventually, over the time of the game, if you so choose, you can find yourself, well, your character, falling in love with Sayori. Such a sweet person, and honestly, she has the most emotional, touching scenes in the entire game. Breaking down in front of you, showing you her weakness, even though she tries to be happy. She's such a sweet girl, and I don't think anything could ever break up. Moving on, we have Natsuki. Now, Natsuki is very cute on the outward appearance. However, she's one to be very assertive with herself and very against you saying anything cute about her. Although, she will do anything she can to prove that she's not cute by doing everything for herself, even if you do offer to help her. Throughout the game, you start to get her to open up to you, and she actually is a really cool person, really chill, and enjoys the same thing as you as Magna, and you guys read that together, and she just becomes fascinated with you, and you both start to like each other, if you so follow this path. Even having one really nice and sweet moment while making muffins and cupcakes for the fair, but it just seems so perfect. And yes, she does seem a little bit younger, so if you're into that kind of thing, it sort of runs that way, so it's a really interesting line to run here, and she obviously seems younger than everyone else, but really interesting in her own way, knowing a lot about cooking, knowing a lot about manga and things you're interested in. It'd be a shame if... Oh, come on! Alright, moving on. We have Yuri, and this is everybody's waifu. Everybody comes in this game and usually picks Yuri right from the get-go because she does have the biggest breast. But, all that point aside, Yuri is actually a book nerd. Very smart, intellectual, but really quiet, shy, and reserved. She's not very capable in social experiences, and you find that out relatively quickly. She seems very shy, very stuttering with her words right in the beginning, but the more and more you get to know her, the more she opens up to you, and eventually she even lets you read with her. It's really quite an interesting and unique experience, and you do even share a really sweet moment with her while helping with the fair and all the things you're doing with her in that moment of time. She opens up to you about her knife collection. It's just really sweet how someone so quiet could have something sort of weird and unusual about him. And surely nothing happens to... Come on! Well, regardless of which of the three girls you choose, you can't go wrong in having a great time in this game. Up until the point where they die. And I know I'm not forgetting anything in this game, so that's really all we gotta talk. Oh, crud. Yeah, we gotta talk about just Monica. It's just Monica, okay? That's all you gotta worry about in this game. Don't think about any of the other characters. They don't exist. It's just Monica. In this game, you're introduced to the president of the literature club, Monica. And being president, she seems a little bit assertive, but also reserved in her own right. You don't really have much interactions with her, and that's kind of the main plot line in the story. Even though you think a game would be more about interacting with a main character than to set that person aside, but she does regardlessly give you help and let you know which girl you are actually impressing, which girl likes the kind of poetry you are writing. And that really helps you out throughout the thing. But it's only until the end, once the girls start dying, after Sayori commits suicide by hanging herself, after Natsuki's neck snaps in half, after Yuri stabs herself to death, all making it look like complete accidents or completely suicidal, until you realize that Monica really was just trying to get you alone, and she's actually been writing the cards this entire time. Sweet and innocent? I don't think so. Regardless of which of the four girls you choose, this game is not really about that. It's not even about writing poetry, which, oddly enough, is in the title of the game. So, what else could it be about? Well, it's not surely just about Monica, although Monica does play a massive part in this game. And eventually you do get to hear Monica's nice sonnet written to you on piano, if you play the game right. But no, this game is so much more than that. It's so much more than this game, and it all lingers on the ideas of one man, Dan Salvato. This guy is a genius and definitely has left his mark on the gaming world with this masterpiece of video game history. In this game, Mr. Salvato cleverly crafts a fun game that is attracted to a certain audience, definitely about teenagers and people who really like sort of odd things, like manga is not really popular in a lot of places. People who like romance and horror video games. Not many people are common for these things. So Dan really took a step out of the box here, and the reason he does this is really well explained in his final letter in the game. And if you've not seen my last episode, please go watch that, because I do have this letter, and I do read it. And it's very, very heartfelt, touching letter. What Mr. Salvato is saying in this part is something that's been trying to be driven home throughout the entire game. The part of liking something that's not usual, and having your own thoughts about things. Now, oddly enough, the game is about literature, and that's a turnoff for many people. They would just stay away from the game. However, the game is still fantastic, even though I'm not a huge literature buff myself. And looking at it from that perspective, the four girls in the game, vastly different, even though they do like literature. One very smart, very intelligent about literature and writing poetry. Others just interested in manga. Others just interested in making people feel good and having friends. And then people interested in making you fall in love with them. But the game is not about love. It's not about horror. It's about humans, and it's about what we need to do as a species. And definitely not this game. I didn't expect it to have a moral story in the end, but it really does. And in fact, that's probably the best part about the game. The story at the end, no matter how much you fall in love with the characters in this game, no matter how much you really care about them, they're just a game. According to Monica. But according to Dan, these characters are so much more. These characters represent individual people, having their own problems, having problems like depression, having problems like cutting themselves, having problems with abusive parents. And the list goes on and on and on. There's so many things wrong with this world, and so many things people are dealing with. People are dealing with death of loved ones, loss of their best friends, trapped inside a box, not knowing who they can turn to because they've been betrayed so many times. And there's nothing left to turn to. And Dan gets this feeling. He understood this feeling when he made this game. And honestly, it's so great that Dan does understand this feeling, because the way he expressed this feeling is a little unlike any other I've ever seen. In his closing words in the game, he says, "We're all different. We all like our own different things." He's a video game player himself, and he likes different things from other people. Some people like their shooters, some people like their sandbox, MMOs. You name it. There's a gaming aspect that everybody probably has an idea and likes. But that's why we're such a great species, because we don't all like the same thing. That's what makes us individuals and unique. We like different things. We're not the same person. And this game really highlights that fact. I mean, how many times have you seen Natsuki complaining about how people don't understand her? So, Dan really drives home a great point here, and that we need to be more open as a society, more open as a communion of people. We're just people. We're not better than anyone for any reason, because someone can do something better than we can. I'm not the best YouTuber out there, and I know I'm not. I don't have no aspirations of ever becoming the best, because I know it's highly unattainable. But this realization is something that everybody has. You may not be the best at what you're striving to be the best at, but you're the best at being yourself, and you're the only one who can be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. And not being yourself is not being true and lying about who you are. So Dan, thank you for such a great game. And I cannot express enough gratitude for this game, but I still have a little bit I want to discuss, so I will try to contain this until the end. We need more games like this. And Dan, I'm really happy about the way this game turned out. Except, could you give me one thing that everybody wanted? So I guess the thing is, when you play a game, maybe not Doki Doki Literature Club, maybe not things that are popular, maybe you like something that's weird, or something else. And yes, it is hard to talk about the things you like when other people don't like them around you. But this game shows us one thing. We're all individuals, and we all have a right to do whatever we want, as long as it makes us happy and it's not hurting anyone. So that's what this game is about. And honestly, game's not a good enough title for this thing. This is a life simulator, in my opinion. And playing this game really opens your eyes. Again, I cannot express enough gratitude for creating this game. Such a wonderful, wonderful game. And it really deserves to be played by more people as a reflection on your own life. Because this game will change you in one way or another. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for making it all the way through my Let's Play series. And if you did enjoy this series and this video, please leave a like. Also subscribe for more content coming out in the future. It probably won't be Doki Doki Literature Club because unless they make a remake or a second edition, it's probably not going to happen. But anyway, thank you again so much. And if you're not following me on Twitter and Instagram, make sure you go do so at ChaosMay006. Once more, I would love to express my gratitude for this game. Thank you again, Dan Salvato, for such a great game. And thank you for your team, showing us that when you put your heart into something, you really can make an impact on the people around you. And that's what I want to leave this video on. So with all that being said, thank you guys again for watching. And until next time, feel free to be yourself. And make sure you burn it up.